Let's begin. I already complained that I found the Zeti boring. All that this game really tells us is that they're demon-like creatures who can be controlled by this magic conch shell. What the game doesn't tell us is what this conch is and how long the Zeti have been under someone's control. They could have been under this control, or under the control of several different people before Sonic, Tails, and Eggman showed up. Sonic kicking the conch and unintentionally setting them free could be a joyful, long-awaited moment for the Zeti. And that's what I'm going with. After years of being under command of some kind, the Deadly Six are free. Free to speak and act however they please for the first time in years. The Deadly Six are hella ecstatic. They finally unveil their goofy, bombastic, and delightfully evil personalities. Now, this is going to be really out of left field, but hear me out. What if Sonic Lost World had the same energy as a rock opera? Stick with me for 1 second. The Zeti basically are blank slates, controlled by different masters and never truly allowed to express themselves. It's not too crazy to imagine them as some badass demon rock band. I mean, look at these designs again. They're so colorful and eye-catching. Also, you cannot tell me that Zor doesn't emulate early 2000s edgy boy band energy. This is Sonic's Gerard way. I mean, it's all too easy to see Zor on electric guitar, Zamam on drums, Zik on bass, Zaz on keyboard, and Xena and Zavok as lead vocalists. I'm not the only one who sees this, right? But in all seriousness, I think making the Deadly Six into a band is definitely one way to make their characters more interesting. Imagine if they sang vocal themes, like in the background of the levels, kind of like Paulina in New Donk City. Lost World doesn't even have a vocal theme for some ludicrous reason, so this would be the perfect opportunity. Giving them costumes and instruments and a really in-your-face presence, I think, would make them a lot more interesting. In the actual game, they're just stereotypical, bland instruments of the plot. Of course, all this flashy theatrics is not a substitute for character development, but we'll get to that soon. As for the rock opera idea, really think with me on this for a moment. Of course, it wouldn't be a true rock opera, as there would still be dialogue and cutscenes, but think of a Sonic game with some of these elements. Sonic has always been a flashy and bold series with, of course, amazing music. I think a game with rock vocal themes playing in the background of cutscenes and flamboyant set pieces would be something unique and fresh. But why this game? Let me explain. The Lost Hex, as it is super underdeveloped and lacks that different and otherworldly atmosphere that really should be there. I mean, it's a lost planet. Why is it so boring? Having Sonic and Tails enter this loud, theatrical, and feverish new planet could be super cool. Maybe Zaz could, have a keytar that he shoots lasers out of. Kind of like Sonic Underground vibes. Also, as I said, this would make the Zeti more memorable. It would also maybe stop the Lost Hex from looking and feeling like a Mario Galaxy reject. As for the story, I'm gonna be cranking Sonic Lost World up a few notches. Not only do I want to go all in with this larger-than-life setting, but I want to give the Ark's Pontaff setup in the original game the potential to reach their full potential and play out in a satisfying way. So, with all of those developmental character changes out of the way, let's get onto the plot. As I mentioned before, Sonic Lost World's story is not inherently the problem. It's almost solely the execution. Some elements in my rewrite will be largely the same, but one of those will not be the beginning. Instead of Sonic and Tails crash landing, the game will open with the blowing of the conch that controls the Zeti. We don't see who's blowing it, just their hands as they point for the Zeti to fulfill their tasks. To keep it simple, the commander wants to be rich, so they have the Zeti mine for gold, destroying some of the Lost Hex flora and fauna. This could also explain why the planet is missing things, and looks like this. We see the younger versions of the Zeti, and they look miserable. Zavok is angry at being exploited, but Zik calms him down and comforts him, reassuring the team that their situation won't be permanent. We then see a montage of every master the Zeti has ever had, and we see them getting older as the clips progress. Finally, we see present-day Zavok, promising his withered, depressed friends that he will make a better life for them, at any cost. Ominous. The game then continues as normal. Sonic and Tails crash land on the Lost Hex, Eggman will take control of the Zeti, and Sonic will kick the conch and free them due to his reckless stupidity. The Zeti realize what's happened and uneasily glance at each other, unsure of what to do without someone commanding their every move. Then Zavok steps in, like the competent leader he is, and commands his team to attack. The team whip out their deadly instruments and go ham. This sounds so ridiculous, but I promise I know what I'm talking about. So Eggman tries to stop them, but Xena, being a female demon, entrances him with her siren-like vocals. The Zeddy take control of Eggman's mech, same as before, and Sonic and Tails have to team up with Eggman in order to stop them from terrorizing the universe. The Zeddy are ecstatic. We get a fun cutscene of them hanging out together, vibing in their band, and using the mechs as fun playthings. They're having a hella good time with Eggman's mechs and being free. However, after Zaz fights Sonic and loses, Zavok begins to worry. Sonic is quite the formidable opponent, and he's definitely capable of thwarting them and putting them under his control if he found the conch. Also, now Sonic is working with Eggman, the same Eggman who manipulated and controlled them before. Zavok finds Eggman's life-sucking machine and gets the idea to suck the energy from Sonic's world to become ultra-powerful beings. However, Zik is hesitant. He foresees that Sonic will one day defeat them and advises that the Deadly Six must flee until Sonic leaves the Lost Hex. Zavok does not like this. He respects Zik greatly, as shown by the opening cutscene, but he's worried about losing power over the Lost Hex if they leave, and that they'll again be suppressed on other planets due to their unconventionality and overall evilness. Though Zavok respects Zik, he decides to go against him for the sake of the group. He commands the intellectually challenged, gullible Zamom to take Sonic down. While Sonic actually getting defeated would be a win, if Zamom loses and gets injured, the gang will jump to avenge their friend, and their evil instincts will be fully unleashed. Yeah, Zavok's kind of a manipulator in this rewrite, only utilizing his group when he can capitalize on their weaknesses. Zamom does get injured, leading the gang to ferociously support Zavok's plan to feed off the energy of Sonic's world. Meanwhile, Sonic, Tails, and Eggman find out about the plan via Amy and Knuckles, same as before. They go to Eggman's lair, like in the game, only this time Orbot is the one who has been beheaded, and Tails swiftly constructs a new body for him. Orbot's confused as to why Tails would help an enemy robot, and Tails responds that for the time being, they're a team. He also says that robots, like all technology, are innately neutral. Sure, they may be programmed to battle or serve under a dictator, but they are not inherently good or evil. And he's willing to take a chance on the good. Turns out, shutting off the machine won't be as easy as anyone thought. Eggman's mechs, which are still under the Zeddy's control, are really being a nuisance. Of course, Sonic can take them all down, but with the Zeddies stepping up their game and the time for Sonic's world running out, stopping to take out mechs every few minutes is a huge inconvenience. Tails works with Eggman to build a special programming chip that will allow Eggman to resume control over the mechs. Side note, yes, Tails is still sassy in this game. He banters with Eggman over his shoddy tech, but there's a sense that they're having a little bit of fun. Eggman respects Tails' intelligence and capabilities, and Tails finds himself begrudgingly admiring Eggman's experience with building and programming different kinds of tech. Orbot and Cubot noticed this, and remembering the skills and compassion Tails displayed while fixing him, Orbot remarks that Tails would be of great value to the Eggman Empire. Then, Eggman saves Tails, like in the game, except this time it's from a BattleBot and not from Cubot. Sonic is irritable about this, same as before, as he's just received the call that Amy and Knuckles are about to die. Time is running out. Meanwhile, the Zeddy are enjoying their victory, but Zor and Zik are worried about Sonic defeating them. Xena suggests setting a trap to catch Sonic. Zavok agrees. The Zeddy, ever the entertainers, decide to throw a rave, inviting all of the Lost Hex to watch them execute Sonic in the most hardcore, theatrical way possible, on stage. They set a trap for Sonic, same as before, and Tails gets caught. When he appears in the lair, Zik is furious at the Zeddy's incompetence. Zavok, however, is enthralled. He tells the gang that this is a win for them. Instead of capturing Sonic to kill at the rave, they'll roboticize Tails, leading to an epic battle between friends while the whole world watches. Zaz and Zor are enticed by this. Zik, Zamom, and Xena, however, are horrified. Despite being obviously evil, the Zeddy have a strict moral code. They have no qualms with killing people for power or forcing people to serve under them due to fear. But taking away someone's free will, in a manner such as roboticization, is a line they will not cross. Zavok, ever the manipulator, goes to Zaz, telling him to attack Zor and blame it on Sonic, so the rest of the Zeddy will realize how great of a threat the Hedgehog really is. They agree, and Zaz unleashes all his crazy energy on his whiny emo friend. After seeing the state of Zor, Xena and Zamom are filled with desire to avenge their friend, and more fear for their own power. They agree to Zavok's plan. Zik, however, sees this as sees through this facade and says that he's very disappointed in who Zavok's become. The mentor and almost father-like figure Zavok spent his entire life training with and trying to impress no longer wants anything to do with him. Zavok is crushed. He lost Zik's approval. But it must not be in vain. This thought only strengthens his resolve. He straps Tails down and turns on the roboticizer. Meanwhile, Sonic is livid. He receives an invitation to the Zeddy's rave, and as he's running, he notices that many of the areas of the Lost Hex have been decked out, ready for the absolutely epic concert. Not only have Amy, Knuckles, and all of his friends faded away, Zamom came to brag about Tails being roboticized, and Sonic is not having it. When Orbot asks to be Sonic's sidekick now that Tails is gone, Sonic gives him the same answers in the actual game. Sonic and Eggman attend the rave, the plan being for Eggman to turn off the machine, while Sonic defeats the Deadly Six. Except, Sonic doesn't fight the Deadly Six. Zavok strides on stage, hollering over the Zeddy's booming music. He's utterly crazed by power, laughing so maniacally that the rest of the Zeddy glance at each other uneasily. Robot Tails is unveiled. Sonic stands on stage, rock music swelling and strobe lights flashing, facing down a now cold, unrecognizable version of his best friend and brother. Sonic doesn't want to fight Tails, as everything in his moral code and just genuine love for Tails tells him not to injure his friend. But with Tails blocking the machine, Sonic has no choice but to fight. Despite Tails being a robot and Sonic trying not to injure him too greatly, Sonic manages to knock Tails unconscious. He's about to carry his friend to the machine in order to keep him safe from further harm, but suddenly, Sonic realizes the machine has already been switched off. Suddenly, Eggman bursts into view, his giant mech now being powered by the energy of Mobius. He has betrayed them, just like in the original. Eggman saw how fiercely Robot Tails fought, and of course witnessed Tails' intelligence as they worked together. So he demands that Sonic hand over Robot Tails to the Eggman Empire. The Zeddy, shocked at their failure, face Sonic and demand that he hand the robot back to them. So now, the three parties are fighting over Tails. Sonic runs to a sheltered spot under the stage to think. Normally, he'd just run into battle, and he can easily beat Eggman and the Deadly Six, but he has his friend to think about now. Someone calls Sonic's name from behind. He turns, ready to fight, and finds Orbot. Orbot, seemingly nervous but determined, tells Sonic that he wants to help, but he doesn't know how. Shocked and distrustful, but not really having much to lose, Sonic asks if he knows how to de-roboticize Tails, who is now starting to wake up. Orbot rushes over to the roboticizer, saying that the process can be reversed by switching around a few wires. In the meantime, Sonic notices that the Zeddy have brought Eggman's mechs to the fight, and they, as well as Eggman's giant robot, are closing in on discovering Sonic. As they work, Sonic questions Orbot's motives. I mean, he'll probably get turned into scrap metal and tossed into the junkyard if Eggman finds out. Orbot hesitates, then admits that after working with Sonic and Tails, and especially after experiencing Tails' kindness and belief in him, he doesn't want to see that destroyed by Tails' new robotic state. He says that Tails made him question his allegiance to Eggman, which is why he asked Sonic that question about replacing Tails as his sidekick earlier. Orbot admires their equal and loving dynamic, something he and Cubot never experienced with Eggman. The roboticizer shuts off. Tails wakes up, and Orbot fills him in on what's happened. Sonic, now noticing how injured and exhausted Tails is from their fight, tells him to stay put. But our sassy Tails is having none of that, and says that they don't have much time before Mobius and the Lost Hex are completely lifeless. Sonic goes for Eggman, but the pesky Deadly Six keep getting in the way. Tails, noticing the strained dynamic between them, decides to take advantage. He climbs onto the stage, where the music is still blasting. Okay, so remember when I said that Tails and Eggman were making a chip that allows all Eggman's mechs to fall back under his control? Tails, not trusting Eggman's intentions and also just being the crafty son of a gun that he is, not only put the chip in one of the mechs without informing Eggman, but also programmed the mechs to follow him. Okay, I know that this is a lot, but let me set the scene. Sonic's attacking Eggman's giant robot, but the Deadly Six keep interfering, desperately trying to cling to their power. Tails, injured and utterly exhausted from the fight with Sonic and the toll roboticization took on his body, stands tall on the stage with the command of all of Eggman's mechs under his thumb. he sends the mechs to attack Zavok, the most powerful and confident of the Zeti. Without the power of Eggman's machine, they're weaker and easily defeated. As they're losing, Zavok begs for Zik's forgiveness. Not because he feels bad for almost causing genocide, but because he now realizes that he lost his master's respect and love for nothing. Zik and the rest of the Deadly Six have had enough of Zavok and exit without him during an epic mic drop. The music stops. Zavok is now completely, utterly alone. He can't believe his plan to protect his friends failed so badly, and that they all abandoned him. Devastated, Zavok leaves the scene before he can be subject to further humiliation, most likely to pursue his friends, now that he's recognized their true potential. Sonic defeats Eggman, and Tails reprograms the life-sucking machine to restore the lost energy of Mobius. Then, Orbot emerges from under the stage. In a very typical fit of rage, Eggman has fled the scene. Now Orbot has to decide whether or not to pursue his leader, or to try his hand at Sonic and Tails' forgiveness. He decides to try the latter. Tails is snarky with him at first, in true pubescent Tails fashion, but then thanks Orbot for saving his life. Orbot asks Tails if he can teach him how to be a proper sidekick, and Tails says that, more than that, he'll teach him how to be a hero. Sonic is amused by this, and they agree to let Orbot join Team Sonic. The game ends with Sonic, Tails, and Orbot retelling this crazy story to Amy and Knuckles at a casual, friendly picnic, and they're, of course, very shocked. They get word that Eggman's attacking them, so they leave for the battlefield. Sonic and Tails on Orbot's side as they prepare for his first battle against their former master. Okay, that was my rewrite of Sonic Lost World. I know that was a lot, and I probably left some things out, but that's all I have the energy for right now. I know it isn't perfect, but I think this rewrite gives a bit more depth to the Deadly Six, and actually gives Sonic and Tails some drama that doesn't ruin their characters completely. As for Orbot, his change of heart may seem out of nowhere, but let me explain. In the actual game, there's this running gag where he basically says that he hates working for Eggman and would rather serve under Sonic. There's a lot of jokes about it, and it's like, I just wanted to play with that. Give him a bit of depth for once. We still have the wacky Deadly Six rock band to hold on to the comedy, and Eggman as well to keep the original game's lighthearted tone. But at the same time, I wanted to give Lost World a grander feel and raise the stakes. I also wanted to fix Tails' characterization. He's confident and self-sufficient already due to his adventure growth, so he doesn't need to repeat that arc. Instead, I think it makes sense for him to serve as a mentor to Orbot and help someone else find their way. Also, the idea of Tails controlling mechs despite being injured and fatigued just really makes me smile.